Now, worrying signs for me, ugly signs on the weekend. Okay, a concerning trend for me over the last few years has been the lack of players that pull their socks up. The umpires have got their socks down. What's going on? No, what's going on? That's a big concern for me, Bucks. So, now I got in here early today and I've decided to lab it up, my first lab of the year. The umpires with their socks down. Now, boys, on the weekend, this is what I expect to see. Pull your socks up, umps.
That's very good.
I like it. I'm with him.
I have a feeling the umpires have been issued undersized socks. Welcome, Ray Chamberlain.
Guys, so good to be back. How are we?
I could do a sock joke if it's too early.
Don't go. Come on,
I know, it's way too early.
Let's be kind. Figuratively and literally, pull the socks up early.
Well, if the players aren't pulling them up, then the umpires can do it as well. And I think that's the most pressing issue they're going to face
No.
in the
So
coming weeks.
it feels like this is vital with what the game is attempting and what it's asking the umpires to do. So Razor's Edge, I imagine, will be quite edgy. How significant do you think the task is for the umps?
Yeah, I think there's February. The way I'd put it is there's no need to flip out in Feb. You know, we can pace ourselves. And every year in my 20 years involved, there's a practical element that comes in Feb, which is following the theory stuff. And for the umpires who officiated over the last 10 days, it's the first time they've had two opposing rucks, as an example, genuinely competing for the ball. You go to, they've been at training more often than they haven't, the umpires at Clubland, but particularly with ruck, they don't bash each other in January and Feb. They sit there and tap it, and they don't really do it. So I think what you'll find is a lot of this stuff, they'll be wrinkled out by close of business tonight out at umpires training and coaching. Individuals will have had things highlighted, the group will be shown, and now there'll be this practical lens which they'll look through as to how they want it applied. And I suspect by the time we hit our opening round, we'll get the water.
We'll get it better, but it's not to suggest we're going to be perfect, is it? I mean, I think that's the other thing about all this, is that we've got to understand that this is a pretty substantial change.
Yeah, progress ahead of perfection, obviously. And, I love in principle what the AFL are trying to do philosophically. Get the ball in play more often, lose dead time, disincentivise high contact, so don't reward poor behaviour, and can we get the rucks jumping at the ball again? And I think in principle, it's pretty hard to argue with any of that. And now it's just this piece about, OK, where's the practical application, and can we educate the group to appropriately pull the right rein?
All right, so let's have a play with the ruck, where the rule is a little, well, it's not terribly prescriptive as to what will and won't be a free kick. There's been a lot of examples given. There are some, it's like case law, I suspect. It's going to evolve.
Yes, that's beautifully put, Gerard. And we saw last night, Swanee was on, and we looked at the pit net example as an example, and I've got a couple of others for us to look at to highlight what I think we need to look at here. And what Swanee was attempting to articulate was, in this instance here, play on would be the best call, and all the umpires will now know this, but what's the why? Why is it play on?
Yeah, Gerard? I need you to explain this to me, because he does end up on the other side of the line.
And what I think we need to do is don't get too wedded. We're not looking for foot faults. It's not the tennis. So the spirit of the law, which overarches over all ruck laws, and there's a spirit of law to all the laws, is a player whose sole objective is to contest the footy shall be permitted to do so. So in this instance here, no one's been interfered with. Pitner gets out of the way, he slips him. So he's just trying to avoid getting pinned. He hasn't impacted De Koning at all, and then the ball's just there. So his sole objective has not been to interfere with his opponent, but merely to contest the ball. So play on's the right result.
He did miss him though, didn't he? He didn't make contact
at all. Didn't touch him.
So is he allowed? A player's allowed to go around them in a contest?
In this instance here, you don't have to let him pin you.
He's got eyes on De Koning there, not the ball.
No, that's okay. There's no free kick for where you look.
Yeah, but look where he's ended up when he's got the ball. So
it's a really good question. If we have a look at the next two, because I think you're making a really great point, Gaz, and it's this one here, free kicks paid. Now, it shouldn't be. So we get wedded to where the line is, OK? But the umpire doesn't throw the ball up straight.
Right.
So in theory, if we throw the ball dead straight, then no, the rucks won't cross the line. But theory's a beautiful thing. You know better than I. Practically, the throw won't go dead straight every time.
So who calls that though? Is that the second umpire? Because the guy's throwing it up. Does he realise, oh no, I've thrown it off centre, therefore I've got to allow him to come over the line and not call it.
So the ball should be your guide, right? So the drop zone of the ball, they can't go past the footy to interfere with their opponent. Now, if you throw the ball up directly straight on the line, beauty. If you happen to dink it a little bit, then that's where you've got to adjust to allow the rucks to have a sole objective to contest the ball. Don't get wedded to the paint.
So there's another one with Marshall, and it's only a couple of minutes
So
later.
it's 2 minutes later. So we pay the free kick the first time, and I understand why, but I don't think we should. But the second one we call play on, which is the right result. And again, whilst they make contact with one another, Marshall does not go past the ball. So that you can see that he never goes beyond the drop zone of the ball. Now, is he marginally over the paint? Yes, he is. But again, it's because the throw has gone there. He's done nothing wrong. We don't want umpires paying free kick because they can't throw a ball up straight. Now, I sound like I'm being derogatory towards the umpires. I suspect it's a little harder than we think to throw it up straight. I know there's a few of them that would rather bounce it, to be honest, than try and throw it up straight. But I think we can all agree we don't want an umpire paying a free kick because a player can't cross a bit of paint because he didn't throw it up straight.
Oh, I think we're going to have fun, not fun, we're going to have debates about that going forward because there will be others going, hang on, was it a line or is it not a line?
I'd like them, if we can roll it back to that last one, there's one more watch this space, and I think we're going to see some movement that will take place in relation to Ruck. So if we watch Marshall when he runs in, what does he do with his lead arm? So one Ruck jumps at the ball only, and the other ruck goes bang and pins him and knocks him out of the contest. So one player, you would say his sole objective is to contest the football, and the other ruckman, sole objective, or certainly prime objective, was to get rid of his opponent first. Now, currently, that is legal. Right. That's legal ruck work. But prior to 2017, Gerard, that was a free kick for a block. And I suspect that we'll see some movement over the year in relation to this.
We've got to keep moving, but ultimately they want two ruckmen to be watching the ball and run
go
and jump
at
the footy.
And go at
That's
it.
basically
and let them do it.
Yeah. So if you bump a bar the opposition ruckman who's left the ground and has no centre of gravity,
He'll end up at his back.
Yeah.
And currently, that's within the guidelines, and that's fine and fair, and it has been since about 2017.
Yeah.
I suspect that's going to need a tweak.
So that's the red flag at the moment.
Yeah.
I reckon. Just to give us a primer on the stand rule. What's the risk here?
So stand's not new, obviously, but what we're going to see is a more literal approach. The players know. The umpires have been out to their training every week, and they know what's required. So if you're within the protected area, which we'll get to see highlighted up here in a tick, someone has to stop and stand. So in this instance here, Caddy comes through the protected area. He's required to stop, and the umpire will be calling out to stand, but he sags off to cover the player who's leaked around the skinny side. So he has to pull up. The same in this instance here. Richards just keeps backing off. He has to pull up. Now, there's a couple of things that are really important about this. The first one is the players and the umpires have got to collaborate. So if he corrects, you're not going to pay a 50-metre penalty because he moved 2 blades of grass back. They pull up, the umpires will work with them. But you'll see in both of those examples, the umpires are 40, 50, 60 metres away from the player who they're asking to stand on the mark. So whilst there are 4 umpires on the field, you still have to run. So it's incumbent upon our umpires to make sure they get where they've got to get so that they can communicate effectively and collaborate with the player and effectively manage these situations.
All right. I suspect we'll have a long list for you next week.
My word, we will.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.